All right, welcome back to ABA exam review and the continuation of our BCBA task list series. Today we're continuing behavior change procedures with G13, the high probability instructional sequence. G13, the high probability instructional sequence, goes by many names: high P request sequence, high P low P request sequence, and then the high probability instructional sequence. All of those are the same thing, and they're trying to accomplish the same goal. That is to build behavior momentum through compliance so we can evoke low probability behaviors and responses. Not a difficult concept. If you were an RBT, you probably understand this already. But as always, for your BCBA exam, you can't neglect the easy foundational ideas. So that's why we're going through this today. As always, we're going to keep it simple. Subscribe if you have not already. It really helps, and you get all of our updates. Check out behavioranalyststudy.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack. When you pass your exam, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. Let's get going. All right, high probability instructional sequence. We are presenting a set of easy and known responses, followed by the more challenging and desired response. It's exactly what it sounds like. So if our desired response is to write the name, so a learner, we want our learner to write their name, and let's say clapping and giving a high five are two known responses. I might say, clap your hands, good job. Give me a high five, good job. Now write your name. That's as simple as the high P request sequence really gets, presenting the easy known responses followed by the challenging response. So it is an antecedent intervention. That's important to know because you need to know the difference between antecedent and consequence interventions. And so the high P, low P sequence is considered an antecedent intervention, right? Because we are essentially using responses that are known to gain compliance, change motivation, and then evoke the actual behavior we want to see. And so we're building up that behavior momentum, trying to see the behaviors we want, the more difficult responses or the unknown responses. It can also work to reduce escape maintained behavior, which is fantastic for clients who engage in a lot of avoidance or escape or who might be non-compliant. If you know you can reliably get your learner to do something, then you can take advantage of that in the high P request sequence. If you know your learner is going to escape if you ask them to sit at the table, well, then use the high P sequence, get them doing other things first, and then present the lower or the less desired response. That's the whole idea of behavior momentum and using this high probability instructional sequence. So here we have a little table from Cooper of what this kind of looks like, and how it usually works is you're going to take 2 to 5 high probability requests. As always, we need to individualize it. So if it takes more, great. If it takes less, that's fine. You always go by the client's needs. You present those, and then you present the low probability request immediately. And so it's not a slow procedure. Many things we do in ABA should not be slow. When we deliver consequences, for example, we want our consequences to be immediate. Same thing here. We don't say, give me a high five, wait 2 minutes. Give me a handshake, wait 2 minutes. That's too slow, right? We want to go quick, because it's all about building up momentum. And so once the 2 to 5 requests are presented, we immediately give the low probability request once we gain compliance. So let's say you've planned 5 requests, but you have compliance. Then at that point, maybe you can try the low P request because eventually we're going to fade out the high probability request anyway. So if we look at this table from Cooper again, we have our high P request, and you can see what we have are a bunch of requests over 80%. And so we might pick 1 or 2 of these, or 2 or 3, let's say, like high five and hands on lap, stand up. So we might use that 1, 2, 3 very quickly, right? Very quickly, because the idea is we're trying to get down to here where we can now get our low P request. And so if we have, let's say, stop talking and raise your hand, or read sentence or passage from text, I might say, give me a high five, immediately say, put your hands on your lap, immediately say, slide chair closer to desk or stand up. And then immediately we're going to say, now read the sentence or passage from your text. And obviously, I'm just making this up as we go. In the context, you want to make sure these responses are compatible, and you're not making the client go all over the place, because that might make the behavior worse. But you get the idea, right? What they did here, they identified a lot of high probability known responses that are going to be reliable. We're always going to see them. And then they identified, what are we trying to teach? Because we need to build momentum to get these low P requests out. Now, do we have to use high P request sequences with every client? Of course not, right? It's all individualized. If you say have a client who's very compliant, you might not need to use the high P request sequence at all. It just depends on the client. And part of being a good analyst is doing good assessments and picking what's going to work for you, your client, to reach goals. Now, a few more guidelines for the high P request sequence. One, we're going to use established and reliable behaviors. You don't want to use behaviors that are unknown. Try not to use behaviors that are going to take a long time. Try not to use behaviors that might be too difficult. Quick, simple, easy requests that can be done quickly and reliably. Again, quickness is the key. I keep saying it, but we want to move quickly, because all we're trying to do is build momentum. And as you know, with momentum, once you stop or slow down, momentum stops and slows down. Go quickly, keep momentum rolling. Reinforcement should be significant for low P requests. So this is a good case of, when you're looking at your low P request, think hard about, how will I reinforce once that request happens? Because reinforcement is going to lead to more of the low probability requests being done in the future. Plus, you might have to use less high P requests, because the whole idea is you want to fade out these high P requests as low P becomes more common. You want to get to the point where you're just going SD, low probability, and then consequence, where we have nothing, we have no previous high probability request. We're not using any momentum tactics. We're simply just giving the instruction and the request is being done. So that's that for high probability instructional sequence, the high P request sequence. Very straightforward, not a complex topic at all, which is good, because we've tackled some complex topics recently. Focus on not neglecting these type of ideas, which are easier, which you might already know, because they are foundational and they're very important to passing your exam. You want to achieve fluency across the whole task list and not just the more complex ideas. So as always, keep working hard, keep studying hard. Please subscribe if you have not already. Check out behavioranalyststudy.com. The link is in the comments below. When you pass, let us know, and I will see you soon.